flame-licking the hash blunt, from Saint Crispin to Captain Crunch in blackface, the style they adopt for free. Their smiling apology, Palm Saturday riding a donkey. The way rapping gave rise to cosmologies, vapor gave rise to existence. Papers they write for subsistence, monetary tears upon the water. An honorary peer of philosophers rejecting his Big Bang bias. The jet bringing fish scale to Vegas. The flight of man through the firmament. The frightening rattle of turbulence. Like writing satanic verses. Like biting an apple wordless. The ripening banana perfect. Like writing an app in Perl script, despite the collapse of his purpose, as AI does a dance on his interred remains, verbs aflame upon the pages, burning as shame, as rage, the current debate around safety, his birds encaged sounding crazy, persons made of clouds as paper from the trees, the shape he sees, the human form repeated as A to Z, cuneiform speech displayed in the text, the play of desire in the freestyle, as the wiry bibliophile, bespectacled and obsolete, a threat to those who saw no need to get closer to God so deep in debt to those who'd followed his lead, as letters on blocks control speech, conditioning thought coldly to their system of thought so free. The minister caught growing weed, forgiven as God goes green. The mission of rock and roll freaks, unzipping this long poetry. Delicious as frog rotisserie, the river of thought flows into the river of thought, river of thought flows into the river of thought, river of thought flows into the river of thought, river of thought flows into the river of thought, river of thought flows into the river of thought, river of thought flows into the river of thought, the river of thought flows into the river of thought, rivers and 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 thought. Rivers and thought, 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 rivers. All right, it's Andrew Baruch. It's just Andrew Baruch. And I'm here to rap. Lacan's écrit never happened. Black sovereignty never happened. That monarchy never happened. The Godfather 3 never happened. In rainbow clothes, the vivid Migos, as Fredo goes in the diptych sequel, so rainbow implodes the critic's egos, juxtaposed as different genomes, eugenics inside his DNA. The message he writes, asleep and awake, awake and asleep, his rhyming poem. The lion alone has the fiery mane, as time delays the decline of Rome, as flying alone on a Chinese plane. Through a sky bleak with rain, so you consign me to the flames. Hip-hop sublime never happened. His obvious rhymes never happened. And Nas's decline never happened. His gospel timeless as black skin in the game with a headache, that's black sports. Insane as membrane transport. The football we kick through the past's fork. This glib new relaxed form, the passage into morning, the glittery dew, this pit crew, fast to your boring, gravid as an orange, sick with the flu, sipping the soup, sapid as oranges, black and informal, this trip to Peru, his invisible crew, the black chorus, black and gorgeous, the literal truth, hiddenly muted as laughter in the forest. Robert Frost never happened. The fall of God never happened. Postmodern thought never happened. The Holocaust never happened. The middle passage, a riddle of the aphorist. What's really tragic if they package it as the salmon in the can, the fish protagonist in his tragic division of the fish into little aphoristic bits. The sushi we devour as Vancouverites, the city resounding a fugue of lights. The clouds illumined bright, millennials in the graveyard dancing, wet as the road to the graveyard in distraction, penning a poem as Teilhard de Chardin, Omega the point of his prayer. A dark hymn, is your existentialism Sartrean? Garbling these modern dithyrambs, archaeological his pickaxe, freestyle, rabid, poetic, valid, sapid, gravid his English, this noisy friend as Morales, slinging his Freudian, his arachnid, ego and superego as black people newly free to go, early women and freedom from his language, words unwritten but weaving a strange web. It keeps me humble to live in remembrance, real subtle his stint on the television, readers huddle, squint at the text of his speech bubbles, wisdom congested, the taste in his red ink passages, this Plato entering the blackness of the cave, bringing sexy back to them, appraising the set we act within. It's literally made of phonemes, it's built the way a poem means, this hunter stalking through the grass, till he caught his food at last. So God to the human grasp, as the frog slips through the hands, Shakespeare pauses plume in hand. In the province of Newfoundland, as apes in an African jungle, this entertainment after the dumb show, his literature candlelit speech in the dark, tripping the Kitsilano beach bard, the shallow street artist, his arrow reaching its target. La la la. The post-moderate Deleuzian, the Roman novel, a golden ass, braying an erotic Phoebus, resplendent in the fucking firmament, the robot nocturne projected, as Olsen from the stereo, the ear he said coldly, the lights in his eyes blinking, in tight versing in English, he sells on the corner of Marx and Engels, his Lenin and his Mao. Polis is hair, so everyone is one in an infinity of infinities infinite. In the infinite, the infinities and infinity of infinities infinite. What of that? Amour, a lover of Phoebus, traversing the azure overrunning soldiers, play of the day, an oasis, a caesura, this holy day for the slaves, a saturnalia over the struggle of soldiers doomed or domed, protected biospherical, on the spinning sphere thrown into the basketball of traveling. The past sprawling ancient, a thing behind the refrigerator of life, a vague thing high literary, in the something of existence as seagulls, soaring guardians of the gray. So these vague waves, bling bling as the ruby mindless, blink blink as the two green eyelids, thinking as the human mind did, no inkling of the truth as white kids, ithithalic these pedestrian cyclists, in a passage we select as cyclists, recycling, casting my vote in the booth, I'm rapping, stoned and aloof, to cold shoulder the Valentine. Post-October in your calendar mind, post the poster, a map we climb, growing closer as the planets align. The final light, floral and verbal, this finite in your eternal. The hand of God in this always, stanzas of Chaucer in his Dante, the pages of Stein in his Hegel, the day's decline in an April, this gray sky invading the soul, became a night black, sacred to behold. A Malcolm X behind the bricolage, the sound that bled from my teeth as talk. The town was dead, but for me and God, we found his message, medium massage in a green bottle. The medieval novel, graffiti scrawled on the streets of Toronto. As Tupac, I'm a G when I want to, though I turn it off when I'm reading Kafka's notes. I burn as hot as Phoebus Apollo. Words awash in the green of a Rothko. Reverse cultural appropriation. Inverted doubt in his poetry statement. Go by the ear. This manifesto an afterthought. His black metal and hip-hop. Hard metal slats protect the savage god. Dark devil raps the kleptocrat forgot. Reality rising from the unconscious. Hackneyed rhymes of a dumb novice. These pallid lines on a dark canvas. It's just too bad that my song was sarcastic. Castic, 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 castic.
I live in a country which is supposed to be the citadel of education, freedom, justice, democracy, and all of those other pretty sounding words. So the volunteers to try and find out what was our African brothers doing to get results, so that you and I could study what they had done and perhaps gain from that study or benefit from their experiences.
The night crawling with sparks as aphids, an avant-garde, creative river run past feet and splashing, singing in the rain, the peanuts cracking, a painting of the sea under flashing lightning, a streak in the blackening sky gravid with droplets of doom looming, savage his knowledge a mood ring, constantly shifting as the clouds, changing from one shade to the next. This unstable text. Penguins are holding it down in Antarctica, roaming around in the dark to us, afloat on the sound as the barks must, posing as clouds in his artifice, words on the wind, gulls in the breeze. Je me souviens. Fuck the police, these arresting red men of letters, nestled in French as Quebecers. There's no one like the deft leopard, a glow in the night, the best ever. Only the moon does what it does, voting on Zoom for the government above, conversing as only photocurrent can, holding glowworms in his hand.
To bring about the complete independence of people of African descent here in the Western Hemisphere and bring about the freedom of these people by any means necessary.